Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Look, everything is working well. We're off to a good start. It is February 7th. We have NonFarms today, and it's probably going to be a shortened stream because I'm going to go have a baby. Although apparently somebody else came in, in labor really early, and so they have moved us back. So I was supposed to be there at 7:30. Now they want us to call back in at 8:30. So cool. I guess we'll get to have a full stream. But anyways, let's go and look at the markets. What are we doing? Okay, well, E-mini yesterday having a little bit of a consolidation day. Here at all-time highs. I mean, they opened up at all-time highs, but then they just consolidated and actually ended the day down, but higher than the previous day. And now pushing down again. So all good. That's okay for long. If NonFarms comes out here really good, that could be good. The 10-year remains elevated. So I don't know. But they moved up overnight. Them Europeans, they just really want to buy our bonds. It's that bad over there. Get rid of negative interest rates because I'm starting to get tired of this. I shouldn't complain. I mean, it helps us, doesn't it? It's easier to trade when the 10-year is moving up. Well, anyways, let's start our text-to-speech for you guys. Okay. So let's go here and look at what we've got coming up for the numbers. Forex Factory. Okay, so unemployment rate. Oh no, that's a Canadian unemployment rate. U.S. average hourly earnings month over month, looking for a reading of spot 3 versus a previous reading of spot 1. Non-farm employment change, looking for a reading of 163,000 versus a previous reading of 145,000. Remember, on that number, it was a little bit low last time. They were looking for more in the 65, and they got 145. So having an estimate of 145, that's interesting. And remember that the previous one before that, November, was really good. That one was like 26. I can't, you know what? The Forex Factory, you can't read it very well, but it was big. It was like a big beat in November. Anyways, unemployment rate looking to be unchanged at 3.5%. So, E-mini is not really that far down, and they buy it up. They buy up the bonds. It's just getting quite crazy. I don't know. By the way, guys, maybe we should do a could we do a latency test? You get ready to say Pong, like type it out. Type Pong, P-O-N-G. And I will give you plenty of time to type that out. and then I will count down and I will say ping. And as soon as I say ping, you hit enter. All right, you're ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ping. Well, it's over 10 milliseconds of lag. That or you guys just aren't paying attention. Actually, you know what I could do? I probably have an easier way of testing it. I can just do this right here.
Bot says Pong.
Oh, there he is. You did it. I don't know. Oh, okay. So first thing is you gotta I gotta be like it to live. Here, actually, I'll refresh this page right here. Okay. And now I will change the camera to my face.
Bot says I'm seeing a 4-second delay between our clocks.
1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9. Okay. So about 8. For me, it's 8. It probably depends on how you connect, but I've been trying to do things to reduce the latency, but I don't know. Actually, OBS is not doing something that I thought it was. Do I have? Oh no, it's all cool. I have the bitrate set to 5,000K. I'm wondering if I reduced it to 4,000, if that would change things. But I have like the 0 latency on in OBS and everything like that. I think that it probably did reduce the latency a little bit, but that probably wasn't a significant component. I think that using ultra low latency on YouTube doesn't make things as low latency as we'd think. That's my guess. That's my guess. Anyways. Let's make sure that Jigsaw.
Bot says, but I don't know if yours is accurate. Mine resets to one of the atomic clocks here in Canada every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes? You know what? It's probably not that accurate. Come on. You know what? That tab is screwed up.
Bot says I have an app on my PC that does it for me.
Well, I should do that. What is your app? I know that mine is close because it does switch over to 6:30 when the
George says happens. I use network time to sync my computer's clock every 15 minutes.
By the way, it looks like, so if I pull up, okay. Maybe Jigsaw is just being a little slow.
Bot says connects and checks, resets the time.
Maybe Jigsaw's journalytics is just being a little slow. Paul Krugman has an interesting chart where he tried to estimate how much what the unemployment rate would be if we hadn't employed austerity measures. Which, I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily call what we did austerity, but it was slightly contractionary. They are pulling early for this news. I mean, it's
Bot
not
says
like
you can Google search my app. Look for Dimension 4.
Dimension 4. Dimension 4. Thinking Man software. Wow, that is some hyper marketing there, man. Simply put, Dimension 4 is the fastest and easiest way to synchronize your computer's clock if you're running a Windows-based operating system.
Bot
Once
says
Dimension
that's it.
4 is installed, you'll most likely forget that it's even running. It's that automatic. Once installed, you can rest assured that at least one of your clocks has the correct time. Is there did they make money? It looks like a free download. It's freeware. They sure got the marketing going on in there, though. You would think that it's a paid thing. Man. Okay. Download it. Yeah, it looks like that Jigsaw's gateway is screwed up. Beep, please fix.
Bot says it's freeware.
That's weird. We got time. Let's install it. Everyone next. I agree. Somebody, what's they doing here? Okay, so somebody just pulled all their orders. He had way more bids than offers placed, but now they are like pulled. Dimension. It's an application. Allow. Yes. Cool. Synchronized. It says that it's synchronized. Okay. Wait, can I just close it now? It just runs in the background, right?
Bot says you'll need to choose the nearest atomic clock in your area.
Oh, really? So does it run in the system tray or any of that? No? Oh, Elgato sound capture still running? I turned that off! Man. Well,
Bot
it's okay.
says you need to set up the site you'll align your clock to.
Okay. Which one should I do? It looks like I have that set up, so. They're looking them up. Is there one for like the stock exchange?
George says, or if you get my app, then it's already done for you. Bot says DOE or a university.
Right. University of Nevada? Waiting to read request. Looking up. Okay. Cool. Now we're definitely synced. I think. Wasn't looking at the clock to see if it like changed. Okay, so we got 20 seconds here. I'm tempted to buy the E-mini, but they're already gone, so I don't think that's a good trade. We could do this. Stop limit 11. Oh man, that would have to be a really big. Okay. So I take it the number was good. A little bit too much covering there. Average hourly earnings spot. Oh, no. No. Let me out. Come on out. You can let me out, please. Sir. Fine. Average hourly earnings being spot 2 versus spot 3 is not good for the treasuries. But on
Fox
non-farms
says
was
stream delay is still about 4 seconds to me.
okay. 4 seconds is good. Non-farm employment change 225 versus 163. Unemployment rate unchanged at 3.5. Oh no, actually it went up to 3.6. That was an interesting one. So they went down on the headline number, but then they came back out. I'm really mad that I didn't get like +2 or whatever, but whatever. Whatever. My chart also, I don't think that they filled me at where I wanted to be. Did I not put in? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I think that the E-mini could come back here a little bit. Whew. The ZB went all the way down to 17 on that run. Wow. I tell you what. What do we say here in ZB? Like ZB is like there's too many people in it. Somebody puked. I don't know if they puked, but it
Michael ATF says hi.
Hey, Michael. Now that sounds like a new name to me. So welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope that you weren't one of those guys that looks like they were long going into ADP and so I was explaining to hit big or miss big in Discord, and I might as well just say it on stream. The average hourly earnings month over month number is a more significant number for bonds. I'm not sure I could say that it's more significant than the headline number overall, but it is a very important number, and we move off of that. At least headline number. Anyways, and that number does not have to be very different because it has to change. It's not a number that changes very lot. It's almost always spot 3 or spot 2. If it comes out and it's like spot 1, that's like, oh my gosh, wow, what? That never happens, right? Something's wrong with my data. Ninja Trader still thinks that the ZN is way down there. What's with that? Oh, that's weird. I'm gonna reload this chart. This is clearly something wrong. Okay, so the bonds are just going nutso up here. I'm so surprised that they are pushing up this hard. Something else must be going on. Something else is happening here, folks, because a spot 3 versus a spot 2 does not cause the stock market, does not cause the treasury market to move 14 ticks up. It does not. That is insane. Unless somebody was just really hardcore. I don't know. ES is like unhappy about it. There must be a headline out there that we're not aware of. There certainly must be. I'm not seeing a spot that I can take. Routers were saying potential 500K revision on last year. So when we were up at 29, I did think that was a little bit too high, but I wasn't willing to stand in front of that train. Even here in this spot, like, I don't know. I'm finding it hard lately to make calls. And
Gary Rich says it just could be profit taking. 225K jobs good 3.6% as a tick up.
Why is my ZN not so weird? Okay. I want to do something else over here. Yeah, so how was the job number better than expected, but unemployment ticked up? That's confusing to me as well. But there's always little things inside of the numbers that you can parse out. 26.5 is okay. See, my ES in Ninja is fine, but my ZN in Ninja is not giving me correct data.
Gary Rich says it was est 160K 3.5%.
Yeah. And we got like what, 240 or something? 225. 225. Was estimated 163 and it came out 225. Like, that's a great beat. It could have been totally could have been covering, but that the treasuries were going crazy up there. Something crazy was happening. I think something's wrong here with Ninja Trader. Hold on. Aha. That is the first time in quite some time that Ninja Trader has really gone bad on me. Don't get me wrong, they have plenty of problems, and but they've been better in the recent past. That's the first time that Ninja has straight up just gone bad. Okay. Let's try opening that back up. Oh, I forgot that I have that. I opened that up at one point. Okay.
Sebastian Marquez says hi, Seth.
Hey, Sebastian, welcome back. How are you doing? How are you today?
Uzi Knesset says morning.
Oh. Oh. Do you see what just happened? Oh my gosh. Ninja Trader! What are you doing? Wah. So my workspace in Ninja Trader died. I can recover it, right?
Uzi Knesset says aren't you procreating today? Lol.
We are. Well, so here's what the deal was that we were supposed to be there at 7:30. So I was going to trade this first 30 minutes. Man, I think there's going to be some real opportunities in here, but it's Friday after news. I always make the wrong calls on those. I'm not quite sure, and I don't understand this flow or why it's trading the way that it is. Plus, right, well, let's fix Ninja Trader first, okay? Anyways, so we were supposed to be there at 7:30, but then my wife told me that she just got called and that somebody else came in with an emergency, and so they have pushed us back. So we're supposed to call them again at like 8:30. But it should still happen today. I'm excited. Workspaces, right? Recovery. Quant. Copy. Workspaces. Paste. Rename. Delete that. Now, when I come over here, it's not just going to show up, is it? No. No. Okay, well, at least that time Ninja
Sebastian
Trader's supposed to
Marquez
act
says
correctly.
my entrance to the ZN was gone for being distracted eating peanuts. Disappointed face.
So, what was your position, Sebastian? Did you have something? You didn't have something before the news, did you? I tried to go short. Well, I can't really see. I stuck in a market. I put in like a stop limit. Yeah, that did not work the way that it was supposed to. Oh no, wait, maybe it did. Yeah, no. That's no, it was wrong. I put it in at 22. It ended up being a stop market. That's weird because I definitely would have put it in as a stop limit. Oh, I see what happened. I was using the wrong one. I was using the E-mini one instead. Okay. So I screwed up. But if I had done what I wanted to have done, then it wouldn't have taken any order at all, huh? Look at the I forget which one of these things does what. Power meter. Yeah, that's a snapshot. So a bunch of offers stacked on, and it's significant. I'm not sure what to make of that right there. I don't see it in this chart. Ooh. That doesn't change that? Big stack at 28. Okay, that's better. No, it's not better. It's the old one. Workspace as quant. Thank you. Okay. And they tick up again. I don't know, man. Much stronger than expected jobs with a boost from warm weather, says CNBC. And what is going on here? And I don't understand. Oh, I do understand. They're all bid stacks. Like the bid is stacking up like nuts so crazy. Like really crazy. Okay, well, now the data that I'm getting over in my chart looks correct. Good grief. The average hourly earnings number definitely says up, but not like that. That is crazy. The 10-year, the 30-year, the 5-year is not quite as bad. The longer dated bonds are just going nuts. That's a sell right there, man. Nope. They just bid it back up. Kind of getting some fishy behavior here now, actually. I might have picked the wrong spot. I may maybe end up being right in the long run. That 29.5 pulled pretty easily.
Gary Rich says I'm laughing so hard all these Tron peeps claiming it's a buy. TRX is still a pus. It's worse than a pump and dump penny stock.
That's funny. Oh, so you know what? I was reading, that reminds me, I was reading like my CNBC this morning, and one of the calls was like, oh yeah, Tesla is like way overbought. But it's come back too fast, so we think you should buy calls here. And I'm like, what? What? Okay. Okay, you're crazy. You're just crazy. That's what's going on there. They came back really easily. That's, yeah, very suspicious. When they were coming up, they were stacking the bid really, really hard, and now it falls down 2 ticks on nothing. Really? Now, what's ES doing? Chart's still loading data. Okay. So ES is down and basing out. It's a potentially buy right there, actually. Yeah. My short in the treasury seems to be working out.
Gary Rich says, what a shame, TSLA down another $19 in pre-market.
Right. What a shame. He sold calls. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy?
Uzi Knesset says, haha, snake oil.
I missed that one. Oh, Ninja Trader. I can close thirds, that'll help. Because it's trying to load tons of data into memory and stuff. This is funny. Okay. E-mini looks good.
Gary Rich says Seth might have a gremlin in his pooter. 2 days in a row with tech issues.
Right. Well, what happened in Ninja Trader there was I made a change to my workspace, and then something happened that killed my data, and ZN wasn't updating. So I tried to restart it, and it wouldn't save the thing. So I definitely came across a bug in Ninja Trader there. Like I said, I don't run into changes very often in Ninja Trader, but when I do, it's when I'm changing
Algo
stuff.
Lover says 8:12 a.m. Algo Lover S if sellers hold any bounce below 3,347, then 3,322 target. A bid back above 3,347 before trading down would be bullish nerd face.
Interesting. That it's negative, actually. But it makes sense too. Okay, now. Cool. Now I think everything is okay. 27.5, yes. Yes. Okay. So. The E-mini kind of looks like a buy to me, but I think that the 32 was the correct call, and I wasn't.
Algo Lover says
then,
S already had the bounce on the news. Okay, hand.
Yeah. The thing though is that the 47 is not that far away. Well, 10 points away. I don't know. This kind of, I don't see why the E-mini would be selling off of this news. What was probably just positioning. They are very, very slowly moving up. Now we caught it in the 10-year. So we can just hold that. But I would really like to make an E-mini trade. Honestly, though, it's a better trade in the treasury.
Algo Lover says we've already been upset and they offered into it. Okay, hand.
Yeah. I don't know. The way that news happened, Algo Lover, was not normal. Particularly in the treasuries. The treasuries bid up extremely hard. Uh, it would make sense for them to be up a little bit after the news because the hourly earnings was under expectation. But when they were up there at the high, they were trading like it was crazy town. And I was looking at Twitter to see is there something else about coronavirus? Is it something like there must be some other
Alga Lover
news?
says don't care about the news, only the levels. Okay, hand.
Other news never came in. So it suggests to me one of two things. One, that there was a piece of news out there that we're not aware of, or two, that a large player was pushing the market around and causing some panic so that they could get fills. And so far, that theory has been working out in the Treasury. They came back hard. So if that's the case, why can't the E-mini move back up at least to the news price? If not, try to push up to 33.46 and possibly your 47. I think it's a really strong possibility. They might sell a little bit first before they do anything like that, though. Actually, everything is red in ZN. Sorry, everything is red in ES.
Air Cages says hello my fellow short sellers. Algo Lover says you are not reading my posts, my correctly confused face.
No, you said that if sellers hold any bounce below 33.47, then 33.22 is the target. And I'm saying on the news they tested 33.47. They came back. There's some shenanigans going on. I would not rule out another test of it.
Air Cages says where's the baby bro? Let's see it.
So they told us that we need to we were supposed to go in at 7:30 today, and somebody else came in with an emergency, so they want us to call back at 8:30. 8:30 my time. So well, would have been nice to have gotten that right there. I can see the bid pushing really hard again. This is interesting to me. The stacking pulling aggregate thing, that it's 16,000 contracts are changing.
Gary Rich says Seth, is Provo a nice place to live?
Provo's an okay place to live, yeah. It's kind of like not my favorite area of the valley. So like if I'm gonna live south of Point of the Mountain, I would rather be like where Ace lives in Alpine. Yeah, this is starting to do a head and shoulders in the bonds. This a little weird. If they break 26, curiously enough, though, Emini's not bidding up.
Air Cages says, are you even nervous, Seth? You look cool like a cucumber, zero emotions. Only money moves.
No. Nervous about having a baby? I don't know. So the thing is one, uh, I don't get nervous about the same sort of things that normal, like being in front of people doesn't seem to make me nervous. I think that that's mostly because I just have so much experience doing it now. Oh my. Oh my. Hardly anything to take 26 half and anything to take 26. My goodness. Wow. They really pulled a fast one on the market today, guys. And I caught it.
Lee Yang Shin Lewis says, hello, which data source do you use?
I'm using Rhythmic. Use Rhythmic?
Air Cages says the baby thing. I'd be pretty nervous. Lee Yang
No,
Shin
no,
Lewis says
not.
CQG.
No. I've used CQG before. I used Rhythmic for technical reasons, and those reasons don't really apply anymore. But the nice thing about Rhythmic now is that they give you like 100 levels of level 2, which is awesome. So you see how I have numbers all the way down here? Pretty cool. I wouldn't say they're perfect though. Like when we had trading technologies open the other day, there was definitely better, more smooth data. You got a better idea of what the market was doing based on the way the numbers were doing, whereas in Rhythmic it's kind of chunky. No, I'm not nervous about having a baby. I maybe because this isn't my wife's first baby. So to me it's not like uh she didn't know how to take care of it or anything like that. Nervous about something happens during childbirth, I guess, but everything's been going well so far and the probability of something happening is low. They're bidding it up again. This whole thing is hyper sketch.
Air Cages says, Lewis, are you in China by any chance? LaShawn Turner says, hi Seth, how are you?
How's it going? That's a new name too.
Algo
Thank you
Lover
for
says,
joining us.
Z and Seth, if they hold bid above 130, 230, then 131,020 target, but they're bidding up into seller's nerd face.
Yeah, they're bidding up. You're right. Algo Lover. Like my thought just before you said that was, oh, I really wanted to 8.
LaShawn Turner says, I am shorting today's high YOLO.
Today's high in what? In bonds? Well, maybe we should just take that right there at 27. I don't know. The whole thing is kind of sketchy, dude.
LaShawn Turner says the entire bond complex.
Wow.
Air Cages says, who are these new people? Where are the regulars? Air Cages
there.
says, I'm scared.
I'm scared. See, look, Gary's there. And we had Uzi. Oh, well, we had John earlier. I guess I didn't see. Oh, yeah, no, we had Uzi. Uzi's there. Alligator in Discord was having hardware problems. Anyways, so we had a potential head and shoulders set up there, and they got down to the bottom, and when they pulled, and I really thought that they were going to go through, but they didn't. And when they turned back around, I really should have taken it off earlier. I don't think I was 100% focused on that.
Lee
trade.
Yang Shin Lewis says China fell sharply on the 3rd, but I did not trade. Algo Lover says you can't wait too long to join or stop will be too close. Okay, hand. Lee Yang Shin Lewis says many people buy if I see at low prices the next day.
I have to say, I feel like bonds are too high. I really do. But they are totally fooling with the book right now. I feel like I should turn back on that stacking and pulling thing.
LaShawn Turner says they always are fooling with the book.
Yeah. But I mean, on that one, they like stacked the
LaShawn
book.
Turner says best to ignore them. Emo.
They stacked the book really hard to get us up into the 30 area.
Algo Lover says HAGWE, thumbs up.
Hey, thank you, Aga. I'll see you next week. They bid it up super hard and then they just let it drop. So like somebody really fooled the market there, I feel. Now, whether or not they decide to take it all the way back is another thing. Notice that they made it come up 4 ticks on hardly any volume at all. Now is it gonna come back down again on nothing? Maybe we could have held that last one. I think that if it comes back on me 4 ticks, though, that I should be getting out. So I wasn't the most focused trade, unfortunately. Now I'm kind of feeling like I could buy the E-mini, but this time period before the open isn't always the best for trading. So maybe it's better to just sit and wait for after the open. Oh, okay. White House advisor Larry Kudlow talks economics in today's jobs report at 9:45 Eastern time on Bloomberg Television.
LaShawn Turner says nice.
Yeah. I wish that I had gotten 8 on that trade, but it's okay. I'm not looking for more than 4 really these days anyways. And I do wish that I had bought the E-mini back when it was at 32, but we had done that one, I guess I could have already been done and out. But I was a little too hesitant on that one.
LaShawn Turner says what bond do you trade mostly?
The 10-year. I like the 10-year. I like the 10-year just because it's a lot. I really like to have a tight stop, and you're just less likely to have it run against you. And, like if it goes 2 ticks against me, I know I'm wrong. Like I straight up, I know I'm wrong because in the 10-year, you can really hold your risk that tight. And I like that a lot about it.
LaShawn Turner says, do you trade any spreads?
So many questions. You know what? I've messed with spreads before, but not seriously. Because to me, it's the commissions are just too high for it. For what you're getting, the commissions are just too high. Maybe in the future, if I have a much bigger account and I really want to take longer term trades, then I might think with that.
Gary Rich says just drop your dollars in the greatest slot machine on the planet. 7 lemon.
Oh man. This text to speech robot is getting better all the time, guys. I'm telling you, Google
LaShawn
is like
Turner
making
says
it
lol.
better. That was funny. All right, well, they take 28. They take 28 again. See, it's like it's frustrating. I don't feel like the order flow that I'm seeing in the 10-year is legit at all. It looks to me like this guy can stack and pull it and move it anywhere that he wants, which is really weird considering how much participation we've had in the treasuries lately. But it's just like there's this big guy and he has complete control over it because it's not moving around based on the volume. And yeah, you can watch the level too, but how, he can pull and tick it up in an instant. You can't react to that. In fact, the good trade that we caught at 30, I think we really only caught that just because it was so far to the extreme. But now that it's come back a little bit, not so sure that I have any kind of an edge in here. Is the E-mini going to go and push back down and test those lows again and shove the treasuries up? Household survey shows only 226 people couldn't work due to weather in January, and then the average for the month is 404K. The 178K difference is huge. These data are on different bases to payrolls. Can't just add them in, but gives a clear hint that January's payroll leap is not sustainable, says Ian Shepard, retweeted by Rand Squawk. Good point. I agree with him. Not using any data, but just knowing the way that these numbers go, I don't think that next month's number is going to be as good. We'll see what the estimates are when we get there. All the way back up to 30 again, huh? So head test now at 31. They sure are acting like they think that the E-mini is going to get creamed here. So what about you, LaShawn? What instruments do you like to trade?
LaShawn Turner says, do I have a Journalytics account? You can add me.
Oh, okay. I'll try and find you. Actually, I was having problems with Journalytics earlier today. Let's see if I can get it now. Oh, yes, I can. Cool.
LaShawn Turner says I trade mostly 5-year.
Oh, you trade mostly the 5-year. Wait, let's see if I can find you. Um, I think you have to link me to the thing. How do you do that? Let's see. Um, used to be. Oh, here it is. Social share. No, that's not it either. And the thing is it won't let you put in links. So if you try and put in the link into YouTube, you're gonna have to put like spaces around the periods. Do we have more data today? I don't think we do. Let's double check. We have final wholesale inventories at the top of the hour. Well, if that's all that I take today, I suppose I'd be happy with it. Really curious to me the way that the E-mini is doing this. Algo Lover did point out it was 47, and that was right where they stopped.
Bot says, can you put in a link if you put square brackets around it? LaShawn Turner says,
I
yeah,
don't think
it's
so.
good. No Name Blitz is my JX name if you wanna add me. Not quite sure if JX works like that though.
No Name Blitz. Okay, let's see if we can find you on like maybe on the leaderboard or something.
Bot says, does that link show?
Nope, I don't see it.
Gary Rich says, I'm such a boomer I have no idea what journal blah blah is.
It's a jigsaw thing. See if I can find you. It's just gonna have to like go through all of the pages. Oh, I don't see you. Maybe he doesn't have it showing up. Maybe he doesn't have himself set up to go on the leaderboard.
LaShawn Turner says lol exclusives jigsaw content done. I spoke with the developers, and Autospreader might come soon. Can you say make your own market?
Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, I really like how open they are. Well, they're changing a lot of things. Like I think they're still working on charts, is my understanding, and there's a couple of other cool things that are happening. 29, huh? Do you share your trades on the leaderboard? That's like the only way that I know how to find you. But I think I went through here and I didn't see you. Yep, went through the whole leaderboard and I don't see you. There used to be an easier way for you to share your trades, but I don't know how to. Tools. They don't make it so easy to do it anymore. It's like they decided that people didn't do it. I don't know. Well, it's okay. I tried really hard to find it, but I couldn't find it. How long have you been trading for? Ransquawk says the desk always keeps an eye on Ian's views. He's the dog's dangles when it comes to U.S. economic data analysis. Okay, I'll follow him then. He was the guy that was saying that that the number wasn't sustainable. That wasn't going to carry over into the next month. That to me, though, doesn't explain why the market's doing what it's doing. And look at they're stacking and they're trying to push it up again. Even though there's these big old orders at 30.5, I mean, if they continue to do that, they could totally get through there. Oh, geez, yeah. I mean, gosh. Ooh, block buy at 30.5, but he didn't hit through. That's interesting. Not sure what to make of that. Interestingly enough, though, that did not result in that wasn't a spike for the day for level 2 changes. In fact, and I wasn't paying attention. I did get a long signal. Well, maybe not. I don't think that I could really do that one. The E-mini's back to where I wanted to buy it. Oh well. 10 minutes. Probably not worth taking a trade. This is just weird to me in the 10-year in particular. Seems like some big guys really have control of it, and I'm don't really have any way to predict what he's gonna do. I guess after what just happened there, he's gonna try and push it to a new high. I guess he could do that. Wow. Dow future signal pullback from record highs. Market watch. They gonna push to the 131 here before the market open? That's what they're trying to make it look like. I wonder. I haven't been showing this thing right here. Oh, there's the volume. I didn't really need the volume. Okay. Two. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you see here on the flip that like it's changing based on the stacking and pulling, and it's happening almost immediately. See right there? So change. Right there, down tick, change, then back up again. So it's only happening when it clicks. So you're sitting there, you take a trade in here, and you're basically trying to predict the next click, and then if you're wrong, you're screwed. You can't read the volume on it. See, like, look at this one. There was a big buy there. Out. They move down, they go nowhere. Frustrating. But I guess it's Friday. Ugh.
RJ Wheel says before the open. What happened? 8 pounds over under.
8 pounds over under. What do you mean? Oh, are you talking about the baby? Yeah, the for if you're trying to predict how big the baby is going to be, I would start at 8 because all of her babies were larger than 8 pounds. So we're like predicting
RJ
tenths.
Wheel says lol.
We're predicting tenths. All right, let's see what they do here. 4 minutes to go. My clock should be super synced up now, right? I'm using that application correctly.
Gary Rich says with Seth's head that's a 24-kilo baby.
I'm not so sure I have a big head. Man, I remember this. So there's this one girl that I was good friends with, and she wore like a men's large hat. She had such a
Bot
big
says
head.
7-second delay now.
It's a 7-second. So here's a question: is if you refresh the page, does it change and go back down? I do get interesting. So I do get rendering lag. I'm wondering. Well, that could have been from when we were like fiddling with Ninja Trader.
Gary Rich says I forgot the camera adds 10 pounds. My mistake, lol.
You know what? What something that kind of bothered me was when you the this is so dumb. The field of view on the millimeter on your camera. So like when it was more zoomed in on me and it was 35 millimeter, your head is looks a little bit wider and fatter.
Bot says refreshed and still 6 to 7 seconds.
Okay. So I'm wondering if 6 to 7 seconds is just the best that you can get it. I guess that 6 to 7 seconds must just be what YouTube's latency is. But I don't know. I don't know. Because when they talk about it, they're like ultra latency. It should be like almost instant, but it's not. It's not. But then I wonder, hey, what if we were doing it on Twitch? Would I get it down to 1 to 2 seconds? Maybe Twitch has a better architecture on that front. We should try it. We could try it next week. If we have some time, we could try streaming on Twitch because I'm probably going to be home the whole week. So we could stream in the afternoon and see what the delay is.
Sebastian Marquez says 2 minutes.
Thank you. Buns look pretty happy there now.
Bot says if the camera adds 10 pounds and the average head is 50 pounds, that means that Seth's head must be approaching LBS.
Well, I weigh like 160. So 50 head, 50 pounds. The average head is 50 pounds. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm surprised this morning the kids are really quiet. And the birds are really quiet. Have you heard the birds? Oh, I can hear him talking. But he's not screaming. Okay, 5 seconds. A little bit of buying into that, actually.
Bot says that's what they say if you want to lose 50 pounds of excess ugly fat. Gary Rich says just ran Bot's number. Seth has a linebacker in the future.
Maybe. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how he turns out because I'm pretty thin, but I've got genes to be taller. I would probably, if it wasn't for like my back and taking Ritalin when I was a kid, I would probably be 5'10" instead of 5'9". I know it's like 1 inch, but like apparently that 1 inch matters to people. Bonds bid up off of the open.
Bot says a linebacker that going to eat them out of house and home.
But my uncle is tall and I grew a lot in high school. And my wife is pretty built. She's one like she is a little overweight right now, but even if she got down as thin as she could, I think she'd have a hard time getting under 150. She's just got, like really thick wrists and stuff. So I think it's possible, depending on how the genes splice together, that he could be relatively built. I probably, although, because the kids are like my oldest stepson, He's probably going to be 6 feet tall. I think he's going to be 6 feet tall. I could be wrong. He hasn't hit the growth spurt yet or anything like that, but I think he's going to be 6 feet tall.
Bots says thick wrists, all the better to slap you with.
Well, it's good for weightlifting. I like the big wrists because it's good for weightlifting. Okay, they're buying now. It's kind of hard to watch the open when they're buying because I'm like, oh, I want to buy things. But I know that I can't hold this risk in this area, so they could go up without me.
Gary Rich says, oh no, talking women's weight is a no-go zone. Yikes when his wife edits this video.
You know what is the other thing though, is I think she lost a little bit of weight during the pregnancy. I actually think she got other, when you minus the water weight out, she retains water really. I don't know why, but she's got a particular problem with water retention. But she's got thyroid issues, so. Okay, so that was a strong buy.
Lucas says, how you been doing these last days, Seth?
I've been doing pretty okay, Lucas. So I was trying that Wyatt trade. I've had some problems with it. So I'll just show you right here, right now, where I'm having issues with it. So like, for instance, here was 2 in a row, and then there was higher. So like, could you take this one? I suppose you could have taken that one because at that time it looked like they were pushing higher, but then it ended up not being that.
Says, Jesus, we running.
So then you would have had a pullback, but then it could have given you the. We are running. Holy crap. So I have taken some trades in the treasury that ended up being good. Like I caught an 8 ticker yesterday, and I should have caught an 8 ticker
Lucas says
today.
Kinetic got your running shoes on?
Yeah. And but overall, I think that my read in the treasuries seems to be.
Uzi Knesset says always winking face.
Like this move up right here.
Lucas says that's nice, Seth.
Yeah. I've been doing okay past few days, but I'm really frustrated by the treasuries right now because they don't seem to be moving. I mean, it's good that I recognize that, but they just don't seem to be moving based off of my regular order flow rules. They just move when they want to. And
Gary Rich says, oh geez, they slammed YM temporarily.
Yeah. Okay,
Lucas says it's been hard on the S for me.
So they just pushed into a naked point of control here around 25. We were saying the downside target was like what, 22?
Lucas says, oh wow.
Yeah. Now on
Uzi Knesset says pukey pukey.
Now on the E-min here, I've caught a couple of okay trades. The way that this is selling, though, I don't know if I want to touch that. You can try buying that one.
Gary Rich says USD, yen is falling.
Nope. Stop. Back down.
Uzi Knesset says look at those indexes, lol, motion sickness, wow.
Yeah, they're getting pretty, I don't know. Like pullbacks to me make sense. These prices, sure. Makes sense. But the velocity, the urgency with which they are moving does not make sense to me. They are trading like they think that something is really wrong, like something really bad is happening, and it's just not the case.
Uzi Knesset says good FOMO environment, lol. Uzi Knesset says nothing
higher.
Makes sense, just go with the flow.
No, somebody's overextended here in the 10-year. he might be able to hold it, but if they just tick down even just a little bit, this guy's gonna be screwed. Okay. Hmm.
Gary Rich says like the Carpenters song we've only just begun. We.
Okay, it pulled. Yeah, good.
Lucas says we don't have to make sense, we have to make monies.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says big guy at 23 seems pretty confident he'll get filled.
Oh man.
Harlequin says wait, weren't the numbers quite good? 0.1% more unemployment rate, but 65k more jobs than expected.
Yeah.
Or is the unemployed number the more important one?
Um. So on in treasuries, that average hourly earnings number is important, and even a point one being off can be significant. But not as significant as this is. And it usually doesn't affect the E-mini in the same way. The E-mini selling here seems to be just based off of technicals to me. Like, we definitely see a lot of technical reasons for the E-mini to be selling based off of, like price levels and momentum and stuff like that. But they're trading it like they think it's the end of the world, which I just don't understand at all. I just don't understand. Okay, so pretty big iceberg at 131, but it's 131, so I don't know if I should read too much into that one. Anyways, there was a good sell on the open, and now they're bidding it back up. So the buyers may, in the end, win out here. They came a little bit short of the downside target, so good stack there. Yeah. Yep. It can turn so quickly, though. Just, do you see that? Even just a few ticks down, and they were trying to hit into it again. What happened to my power meter? There we go. We'll reset it right here.
RJ Wheel says fake out.
Think so? Well, I know like what's happening right here. I don't know if it matters, but there's definitely some distribution going on here at 31.5. Like I could just, yeah. Of course. Of course. Sellers came back in there hard. Okay. Sure. They could go further, but I just can't tell. I just can't tell. Hey, if I could have gotten four there, that would have been awesome. That's still good. Like, I'm still doing good on the treasuries today. Like, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't make it any less frustrating. Now, in the E-mini,
Gary
as
Rich
much
says
as
we're
I would
not
like to
supposed
buy
to
it,
understand. Just spin the wheel and throw darts.
no, we need a probable setup. We need a probable setup. I guess the thing that is bothering me here is that I'm getting a good setup in the 10-year treasury, but it is based off of people overextending into a trade and not based on any kind of hint that the volume or level 2 is giving me, if that makes sense. I could see there that a ton of orders came through to push us up at a 1/2 and that it was going to have to pull back. And that's why I took it. And there was 4 in it. Okay, cool. It's a pullback trade, so you can't ask for too much on a trade like that. I would prefer that they trade, with volume, that with some sort of a signal that there's an
Duper's Delight
imbalance.
says Netflix just broke out of my pennant,
buyers
which
and
began in June of
sellers.
2018.
You like Netflix long then, huh? I don't do a whole lot with stocks, but I think that soon we're going to have to start getting more into it. So anyways, in the E-mini, I would really love to buy it like at, like 33.27 would be great. But the candles that I'm seeing over here are not, I can't get anything from that. I don't really have a really probable setup over there. I do see a possibility that the downside, like flipped. Like they pushed as far as they could and it
Gary
was
Rich
rejected.
says, have you seen how strong the dollar is? From 96 handle to 98.50, what a move.
Oh, I wish I could see the dollar index. Do you get the dollar index, Gary? John would always talk about how much he wish he had the dollar index. Okay, so we're getting like a doji right here on a 5-minute.
3iDet says, what data providers are you guys using?
You're the second person to ask that. I'm using Rhythmic. So my experience with Rhythmic has been they give you more levels on the level 2. Instead of just giving you the first inside 10, they give you like everything. But the data that you get is more chunky. When you watch like TT, you'll notice that it's a little bit more smooth.
Gary Rich says, I get from ICE they charge way too much.
Yeah. They charge way too much. Yeah. Okay, so that white bar is an inside bar. It's an inside bar.
Bot says, I still think we could build one using the component parts with CME 6E, 6S, 6C, 6B, 6J, etc.
Okay, I'll look into that. John. You know what? We're gonna be. I'm not planning on working next week. I mean, I get 4 weeks of paternity leave. I want to save as much of it as I can so that in May, when my wife goes
Bot
back
says,
to work,
no reason why we couldn't.
When my wife goes back to work, I can use those days then, and there will always be one of us home. But probably.
Bot says you just need to get the weighting correct.
Yeah, so
Uzi Knesset says people used to do that in Forex, build synthetic currency indices.
So the question is, what is the dollar index based on? Dollar index components. Or let's call it, formulation.
Bot says stats are published.
Oh, there it is. There. The US DX equals. Oh, it's a complicated formulation.
Gary Rich says heavy weighted euro for DXY.
This is like. Okay, so it's like the euro, well, like there's these weird exponents, right? Like the euro UXD is negative
Bot says I think
0.576
60 is about 17%.
of it. That is not what I expected at all. But we can totally use that. We can totally calculate that in NinjaTrader. Ooh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. We got this inside doji. They broke to the downside. I'm really tempted that if we were to break 33.32 to buy into it, but I don't think that that's in line with the time frame indicator. I don't think that trade makes sense. That would be cool to have an idea of where DX is during the day. Yeah.
Bot says that would be cool to have an idea of where DX is during the day. Gary Rich says Seth double check the DXY, is it trade weighted or the other calculation?
I don't know what you mean. DXY trade weighted.
Bot says without paying ICE's $140 a month. Sebastian Marquez says the SP500 makes several pauses.
It sounds to me like it is not. Sounds to me like this is the DXY. DXY formulation. Dollar index contracts, options. Calculating it. Well, look, here's a thread about it. I found a calculator that does it. Everything you wanted. There we go. The ICE.
3idet says at Gary Rich, wow that you are subscribed to ICE.
Gary Rich is a high roller, folks. Haven't you seen some of this stuff? He's showing us some crazy stuff. I mean, come on. He sold call options on he sold call options on Tesla. So you either have way too much money or you're really foolish. I could not handle that, right? Because what if they pushed higher again? Ooh, that's a hard loss to take. You don't take that one unless you have a big account. Okay, so that one ended up being an up-close outside bar. What do you make of that, John? I'm thinking if we get above
3idet says market maker winking face.
Then maybe I could buy it. Well, I don't know about that one. The activity level in the E-mini is actually increasing. We actually have more activity right now than we did on the open, which is extremely unusual. I have not seen before. Why am I going to get rid of this? And
Bot says no idea what you're looking at.
okay, let me show you. Let me show you.
Bot says outside bar on what contract or time frame?
The E-mini. Right here. Okay. Open. Retrace. Inside bar. Outside bar. Up close. It's now above the moving averages. It has not made the hour or the day green yet. So there's the hour. The day is like way up there at 33.50. So this hour could go green. we could maybe buy it, but it could also just go green for like a bar and then fade. So I'm not sure if there's a trade, but
Gary Rich says I
that's a
could show
pattern
how
of
to
some sort,
manipulate a
right?
certain market and we become the volume. It will trigger all the scanners and memo. Bad dog I am.
You talking about like with option contracts? Let's not do anything illegal, please. Oh my gosh. On Wall Street Bets, they were saying, oh, it looks to me like the reason that Tesla is up so high is because so many people are buying call options. And it's not even like you don't even have to execute them. Just like having a bunch of people out there trying to buy a call option seems to make it go up.
Gary Rich says no those 0.002 stocks.
Oh,
Duper's
yeah,
Delight
yeah, yeah,
says
yeah, yeah.
Netflix is breaking out of my new bull pennant that began June 2018.
And so somebody was like, hey, let's do it with Microsoft. But this subreddit is all like purely satire. So they're like trying to cover themselves legally. And this one guy was like, I like your idea so much, I'm not going to do it. It was like, okay, guys. Okay, but I don't think they actually did it. So I don't think Microsoft really broke out in any significant way, did it? At least not, I didn't hear. They weren't like on there celebrating, we did it, Wall Street Bets, so it must not have happened. So
Bot says my 17% number for euro percentage of DXY was a typo. Actually, it's 57%.
Is it? Well, they were using an exponent there. Why would you use an exponent? I forget what the math rule is. Like, how do you do a negative exponent? Calculate.
Bot says 57.6 to be specific.
Fractional exponent by hand.
Three Idet says 1x. Duper's Delight says maybe Tesla's ruse is due to low confidence in Asian auto.
Oh, that's
Duper's
right.
Delight
It's like
says
a
rise
square root.
asterisk.
Why would it be? Okay. I don't know. But they had exponents in there. We can calculate it. It's just
Bot says it is a weighted geometric mean of the dollar's value.
Oh, I see why. Because
3 Idet says it is a multiplication.
you're doing the thing where yeah.
Gary Rich says what I'm suggesting is not illegal. I just understand how these scanners work. I'd feel bad making 20% on tricking others.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about what we've been seeing in the 10-year lately? Feels to me like that a market maker is like has complete control here. It's either that or the treasury market is really unsure about where it's going to go and they're being incredibly
Duper's Delight says Tesla up 1%.
finicky. Tesla's up today, huh?
Bot says no you don't at Gary Rich.
There's some, the rules about like manipulation and what's illegal. I've never read anything that says like this is what this is like. Like it seems to me, like let's say that you targeted a specific individual to trade against a specific individual. Can you do that? Is that market manipulation? I'm not sure. And I've tried doing research. I've tried looking it up. And I can't find anything on any of the websites that have anything to do with it. The only thing that I ever caught was like if you give fake information, there's like some really specific cases that are specifically mentioned by the CFTC. But there's definitely stuff that's like, it seems like that you would not want that stuff to be going on to have a fair market, but I don't know if they're actually illegal. Quote stuffing is illegal, but it seems to happen all the time. It's weird. You know what? That weighted index, John, I think should be easy to make because you just have to use math.pow. You just do math. You take the euro, times math.pow to the x. I think. It depends on which, if the dollar index is doing it, is using the same number that the 6e is using. Can you just do 6e times 6e math.pow to the, negative 0.573 or whatever it is?
Bots says USDX equals
Yeah.
50.143481112 times EUR USD
Yep.
0.576 times USD JPY 0.136 times GBP USD 0.119 times USD CAD 0.091 times USD SCK 0.042 times
Just wait.
USD CHF 0.036.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I think that you just do Euro USD math.pow to the negative 0.576. And you add all those things together. I think it would work.
Moon says, how's the year going, Seth? What's your YTD percent return? Or what is your average annual return percent?
So Moons, I did not make money last year. I will admit. I think that what's been happening to me is I'll have periods that are really, really good, and then like when bonds are moving up, and then it kind of comes back and I don't do so well. So like this year to date.
Bots says, sorry about that. That was almost as bad as the lawn sprinkler post.
Yeah. That was funny too. No, so this month I think I'm positive this month. But oh man, I had like a period where I really, really screwed up. So I'm still working it out for sure. I think that we've made some really good progress this month with our e-mini trades though. Like this whole thing right here, I've wanted to buy it, but I've been saying no, I don't see the probable setup long that I would like, and so it's probably not worth taking. I guess we could have shorted it when we were pushing 33. So they went up and they just barely kissed where the hour would turn positive, and now they're selling it down again. They didn't get as far as...
Moon says it's all a learning process, you'll get there. 3idet says that Gary Rich brokers do this all the time by selling limit order books.
I'm feeling a little frustrated because I feel more lost than ever on the treasuries. I think I'm actually positive if I only... Let's hold on a second. Let me... So let's add a filter here. Filter editor. Change it by instrument begins with a Z. Blah. And then we'll do this week. Okay.
Duper's Delight says Netflix will pull an Amazon and break its all-time high as well, which was $423.21 in June of 2018.
So I had a couple of bad trades at the beginning of the week in the treasury, but overall I've made almost 16 ticks. Pretty good this week. And yet I'm sitting here and I feel like I have no clue what's going on, and I feel like I'm frustrated trading the 10-year. So I don't know how I'm doing it, and I think that that's kind of just was luck of the draw. And luck that I have been super selective. Okay, so they're bidding back up again because they think that they're going to kill the E-mini. I just don't understand. Netflix will pull in Amazon and break its all-time high. Okay.
Gary Rich says, when I traded FX, I thought I was trading against the world. Nope, I was trading against other clients of the firm. Eye-opening. RJ Wheel says, I'd like to short that. Don't see how they can compete long-term with Amazon and Disney.
Netflix? I don't know. So the thing is I remember when Netflix's streaming service came out, and it was like really amazing how well it had done. Now, granted, but here's the problem. Like
RJ Wheel says, why the treasury, Seth?
The only thing that really is good to watch on Disney Plus is The Mandalorian.
Uzi Knesset says, here's 23.
Why do I like the treasuries? Is that the question? I think that the main reason that I trade treasuries is because it fits up with my time frame better. It also used to match up with my risk better, but now the
RJ Wheel
micros
says
do.
agree, but just starting.
Yeah. It could, long term, it could be really good. But here's the thing, like, I really like Netflix. Like, I still watch, when I watch stuff, it's been on Netflix. Okay.
Live Action says Seth simplify breakout balance or fade balance on S, get that under the belt and go from there.
Breakout balance or fade balance? I think you're gonna have to go into more detail. How do I detect those conditions? This to me in the E-mini once again makes me feel like I really want to buy it, but I don't see the setup. They tried to push the low of the day. Did they make a new low? No. They turned it the same spot. It's trading down again. See, I don't have a trade. I could short here on the
Live Action
expectation it
says he'll
breaks.
email you this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'll look at it. The last string of stuff that you guys gave me in the E-mini seemed to help. I don't know how.
Uzi Knesset says pow pow pow.
This is the thing that's weird to me. Is like, I did pretty okay this week. But I don't feel like I did well this week, you know?
Duper's Delight says Amazon owns IMDb. IMDb hosts free movies on their site, which tend to be many of the same movies you'll find on Netflix. Moon says I only sell premium on a list of 15 stocks made 54% return last year. I aim between 30 to 50%.
54%?
RJ Wheels says me too, I like
premium?
Netflix. I'm BSING about shorting. But I still see problems long term. The amount of money they pay out for content is unsustainable. Lucas says here we go. No wait, okay yes here we go. No, just wait a sec. Yes buckle up. Gary Rich says as long as NFLX keeps gaining more customers, losing money on content doesn't matter. TSLA same.
Yeah, that's the weird thing that's interesting is that Netflix, apparently there's more people out there to buy it, which is weird to me, but they gonna do it?
Uzi Knesset says boom.
I don't know, dude. I can't, I don't
3
understand
Idet says
why.
excuse me, what does it mean to sell premium?
Okay, so I'm gonna mute you guys for a second because this is gonna be slightly long. Man, I just don't, I cannot predict what it's gonna do here. If it's gonna go for new low or not. It did go for new low, but let's just let them work it out a little bit. I need to wait for a setup. I think that I'm getting anxious. Like I want to make a setup happen, and I should just be patient and wait for my spot. Okay, so when you're selling options, let's say, remember that a call is the option to buy a stock at a specific price, towards a specific date in the future. Okay, so if you're going to buy a stock from somebody, you're buying a call option. So if you're getting the option to buy a stock from somebody, then you must be agreeing to buy it from somebody else, right? So that person that sold you the call option, he is essentially short the stock, right? Because if the stock goes up, he is going to have to buy the stock so that he can sell it to you. And that means that he's going to be forced, if it moves up, that means that he's going to be forced to buy the stock at a higher price. So don't try and wrap your head around that too much, but the gist of the idea here is that when you sell options, what you are doing is you're saying, oh, that thing that this guy, the reason that the guy is buying the option from me, it's not going to happen. He's never going to execute the option and it's going to expire useless. So you would sell the option for like $5 and then just pocket that premium is what they call it. So selling premium. Now, the risk is if you don't own the stock, then it goes up, then you have to buy it at a higher price and you can lose a lot. And your potential loss on selling naked calls is unlimited. Is unlimited. If you're not covered, that is, if you don't own the stock. So that's why whenever we're talking to Gary, it sounds to me like that in some cases he is selling uncovered calls, and I'm like, okay, but you realize that if something happens, you're going to take a really big loss. And it sounds like he understands that, but that it's so rare that he ends up making money anyways. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he's made some good money doing it, so I'm not gonna say it's a bad idea or not.
Moon says I've traded every possible market and options seems to be the best thing for me stress and return wise. Uzi Knesset says Gary has big nuts. That's it lol.
Could be. See, if I tried gaining in on that hit of new lows, would have been blown out. I like how hard the treasuries came back. Did they give me a no? That well, they kind of did. They actually kind of did give me a signal there. I could have taken that short. ZB though, the way the ZB is trading was like telling me that you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go short. Oh, what did John say for me here? He gave me a good chart. Ooh, which one is that? That's the E-mini chart. John, that chart is so messy. I don't know what you're trying to show me. I can see that it broke your range stop thing line. Pretty solid down move since 35, isn't it?
Gary Rich says yes I sell naked options. I know where the punch out is in the return on margin.
Okay, what do you mean by punch out? You mean where you have to take the loss?
Duper's Delight says Ford down 2.24%.
Is there a situation where it could go through and you can't just stop out of it and you get caught in something chasing to try and get out? Or I guess it would matter how big of the position is, right?
Duper's Delight says 24 mil volume for Ford.
Interesting. 2.24% is pretty
Gary
big
Rich
still
says
for
I get
the-
out 3 times the premium.
Ew. So you're
Fox
saying
says nice inside bar breakout off the lows with an inside bar to scale in off of the high of the bar at 3,326.25.
oh, okay. Hold on, let me look at that again. 26.25. I guess down here that's an inside bar is what you're saying. I mean,
Fox
that
says
last
I'm
move
looking at
might
a
have done that.
1600 to chick chart of the S.
Oh, okay.
Gary Rich says I did get caught 15 bagger when we had flash crash on S.
Oh, really? So you're saying you're taking like your risk is 3 times your reward? But what's your win rate? Your win rate could be like 90%. Then it would math might still work out in that case. Although my question is with options is how would you calculate what your win rate is on something like that? Without taking the trades and finding out. A little bit higher. So it's still like I could buy it. Feels like that the selling is over. I don't know. Treasuries came back hard. Oh, I should have shorted that one. I'm so tempted. Yeah, you're saying that's a long breakout though, right, John?
RJ Wheel says feels like a floor put in.
I'm a little hesitant because even though I see it as a long in the E-mini, I don't necessarily see people like severely offsides. So now that said, the treasuries didn't come all the way back, right? They need to get back to 29.5 or so to have like come all the way back and be off of the world is ending kind of trade.
Bot says update in Discord PM.
Okay. Oh, I see. Where you got that arrow right there, 33.26. That one's on the 1600 tick chart.
Gary
See,
Rich says it's not so much risk reward. It's a calculation of annualized return to qualify for a trade. I check the probability of touch cone. I'm so far OTM and time it's kinda rare that I have a terrible month.
interesting. So it really is then where you're like literally talking about win rates possibly in the 90 percentile range. As long as your position doesn't get too big, you can do that. So I definitely see it as a setup, John.
Bot says the inside bar is yellow on my setup. I think yours are white.
Oh, so what are the white bars on yours? The white bars are just dojis. I can see though that it's yellow. Yellow, and then they broke out and they moved higher. On the 5-minute chart, you can certainly see that something of that nature happened, but you don't get an exact like.
Bot says correct.
Yeah. You don't get an exact like setup. So what I'm noticing, what I was kind of starting to
IDK says hey, any trade at the moment?
Nah, yeah. I took I took 3 trades today and I've made 7 ticks net, or actually it's 6 ticks net, isn't it? Yeah. On sim, in the treasuries. I didn't I really want to take an e-mini trade, but I just didn't see the thing. Okay, so John, what I was going to say is I think that some of these
Gary
setups.
Rich says this system can return 15 to 25% per year. At times it's under and over those numbers.
Okay. So let me draw a picture here, for instance. Let's say that you have, so this is the one that I really like, right? It's a really big down bar, and then you get a doji like this. Let's just close this right here for a second so that you can see it a little bit better. Okay. This is the setup that I like. And then you should get like, it should go up above the high here.
Bot says that little move lower, where they look below the session low and then reversed was what brings it into focus for me.
Yeah. So this is the candlestick setup that I have. Okay. So here's another candlestick pattern that they talk about. This one's down and this one's up. Okay. So guess what? These are the same move.
Duper's Delight says Yum down 4.13% on the week, up 94.65% over the past 5 years.
These are the same move. It's just that the bars are being, on different time periods. Cool. Okay. So then with that in mind, it seems to me that say we have a setup like this. I think like this one. Well, let's go all the way back here so that we just have no noise. Okay, so say we have a setup like this. My theory is that the higher the time frame that you see that on, the more likely it is to work. So on that one is 1600 tick chart. Is that enough to make it happen? Seems like yes. But it would be better if it happened on a 5-minute chart. So I was watching the 5-minute chart. It was kind of unclear if that's what was happening. Oh well. But maybe we should do some numbers on that and find out. Because we haven't done the doji setup thing, have we? We haven't tested that one. Or sorry, the hammer setup. It seems to me to be a good trade though. They've definitely calmed down now, so I suppose that we could drift higher. The cumulative delta in the E-mini is not actually all that awful. It's actually higher. So there's a good chance that they get to that open and above. It's 817. I don't know if that really. I don't know. We'll keep streaming here past 8:30 because my wife's supposed to call, and we'll see what happens if they tell us to come in at that point. It's kind of funny that we ended up. I thought I was only gonna be able to stream for 30 minutes, and then I planned everything out to do that, and then it ended up not being a big deal. It's interesting to me too, John, that you're showing me the 1600 tick chart again. Did you always had that open and it just wasn't showing
Gary
you
Rich
stuff
says,
until
for
now?
example, if I sell crude options, if the premium goes against me, I can go into the futures crude and trade some of that premium back. It's a double win with time decay.
Oh, that makes so much sense. You see that it's going against you. You don't want to give the trade up. You buy in, you hedge it out. You make money on the futures, and then you should still be able to get time decay on it, even if it moves up, as long as it's not like a third standard deviation move. It's still I get really nervous. This is more of a scalping thing, but I get really nervous when I see strategies that are based on taking a skewed risk reward ratio and having a really
Gary
high
Rich
win
says
percentage.
exactly.
Because in futures, like let's just say that it's 2-1, right? In order to be profitable with a 2-1, you have to have a win rate over 70%, I believe, is how I calculated it out after commissions. So can you actually get a over 70% win rate on that trade? Well, in options, you can do it because you can skew things in your favor. You can get a 90% win rate in options. It's possible. In futures, that's super effing hard. I can't do it, at least. I've never met anybody that I think had a high win rate like that. And so what I see is I'll see a lot of people that they're taking a trade like that and they think they have it figured
Gary
out.
Rich says others will sell or buy options to hedge their futures position. I just invert that process.
They don't really know what's the problem with doing that is. And not only that, I got something stuck in my microphone here. Not only that, but then when the big bad thing happens and it screws them over, they don't say, "Oh, well, maybe that strategy is not such a good idea." No. They say, "Oh, I screwed up." They blame themselves instead of the unfavorable risk reward that they were taking on it. U.S. Appeals Court throws Democratic lawmakers' lawsuit alleging Trump's business interests violate U.S. Constitution's anti-corruption provisions. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot that Kudlow was speaking. He's still talking? Kudlow says administration thinks coronavirus could cut GDP growth by 0.2 percentage points. I wonder how they calculated that. I don't know about that one, buddy. Okay, there they are at the open. So now we're green, like we could take a trade. Except for we'd have to catch the price.
RJ Wheel says in futures it's not about win rate. It's about minimum loss and maxing out wins. So a 40 PCT win rate, for example, can be profitable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Well, especially E-mini.
Duper's Delight says if you've ever heard of host Gayle King from CBS News, well, she was caught on camera molesting Elon Musk.
What? Okay. But anyway, no, I think you're right, RJ. Well, in fact, I would say that the strategies that I've seen that are just scalping that tend to work are ones that have a win rate around 55% or lower. And they're taking advantage of, um, a really favorable
Gary Rich says I don't
risk
do
to
this
reward.
necessary on equities as much, but I will if needed. I know I'm taking addition risk on, but gotta do what needs to be done.
Mm. Now there is these scalping things. So the one that I have seen that works, and that I think that the person that I spoke to proved to me pretty sufficiently that it works, is you can take equal risk reward and get up to an 80% win rate. So you like risk two to make two, and you win 80% of the time, and that works really well. Um, I don't know how to do it, but maybe I would do that if I knew. But that's supposedly the way that Gary Norton's strategy works. So, we could buy it at the open. No, it's too messy of a spot. When John showed me that setup, I should have just said, "Oh well, let's take
RJ
it
Leal
anyways,"
says
even
that's
though
why
we
an
missed it.
extreme disciplined trader given a terrible strategy to trade will still beat a poor trader with the holy grail of strategies. It's all about managed discipline.
Yeah, I just so let me take a step back. I think that a lot of traders have this idea in their head that's like, okay, here's the parameters of my system, and this is what I'm supposed to do, and then they don't do it, and so they say to themselves,
Trader
"Oh,
Lincoln Mitchell says gold just created a fair market price of $15.75.
oh, okay,
Live Action
I
says
don't have
China
gold
jailed
up
a
right
doctor
now."
trying to expose China's lies about coronavirus. The doctor eventually died from the virus.
Oh my gosh, yes, live action. That is like a huge story this morning. I would watch that one. Okay, let me finish my thought. Let me finish my
Duper's
thought.
Delight says YouTube vid titled Elon Musk and Gail King test drive his new boring company tunnel. Skip to timestamp
Here,
454.
I'll mute it. You guys keep typing, and I'll finish this thought. Okay, and then I can address the other comments after that. Yeah. So, anyways, you say, "Oh, I didn't follow the rules. I need to be more disciplined," and this thought that you can just will yourself to be more disciplined, I think is silly. Why? What is it that just because you think harder about it or something, that you're going to be more disciplined? Did you know that they've actually done studies that show that you have a limited amount of discipline, based on the chemicals in your brain, and when you exhaust those chemicals, that your ability to withstand temptations and so forth is significantly diminished? So they were saying that, like, if you wanted to seduce somebody, then just force them to exert discipline all day long, and then seduce them at the end of the day, and they'll fall because they won't have the chemical anymore. So I think that if your problem is discipline, you have to change your system. You have to change the whole thing about the way that you do stuff, so that you're just not going to fall into that pattern anymore. And it's going to be like that until you've formulated in your mind, and the brain pathways have created themselves to have a new pattern of behavior that's more disciplined. So, yeah, like this whole the idea of like, you need to be a disciplined trader. I think that the people that are disciplined are people that have been able to develop systems that let them be disciplined, rather than that they just have some sort of magical ability to control themselves. Because I have been a person that most people consider to be very disciplined, and yeah, you've seen here on stream, when I trade, I make big mistakes, and I think that the the reality of it is that even the most disciplined person is going to fail in that situation. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these ones.
Live Action says China jailed a doctor trying to expose China's lies about coronavirus. The doctor eventually died from the virus.
Yes. So this was the guy that he was talking a while ago, and he got arrested, and China blamed it on the local governments, and the people have really rallied behind him. There's been a lot of people have been saying things like, "I want free speech" or something to that effect. This might change things in China. This doctor is like the true martyr that China never got, because all of the Tiananmen Square massacre, of course, that was memory hold, but now everybody in China knows about this guy. I think maybe this might lead to some positive changes in China. We'll see. I'm hopeful though. Okay, back to options.
Gary Rich says, if I never got into options, I never would have thought this way. I can create so many derivative strategies from options.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's great about the options is that you really can go through and play statistics, and there are ways about how the trade is structured that gives you certain probabilities. You have a lot more control over things than you do in, say, futures, right? Futures, your ability to control is very limited to just when you buy and which price and which direction.
RJ Wheels says true. That's how false confessions happen. Duper's Delight says brilliant point. The mind is a computer running various programs. RJ Wheels says that's why following a guru doesn't work for most. You have to find a style that fits your brain capabilities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, RJ. That for most people, following a guru isn't going to work. But I think that the larger issue is that there is no edge that is just always going to work. Well, I shouldn't say that, but the market tends to find edges and take them out. And so if you are just relying on some other person to tell you how to trade, then when the market changes, you won't be able to adjust, and the person that maybe invented the strategy will. Right? So I think that's the bigger issue there is you've got to think of it as here's the whole space of possible trades that you can take. And the profitable trades is this little nebula of stuff in here. But that nebula moves. It moves, and maybe there's specs out here too. But that nebula moves. And so if you found that nebula and you're trading and you're making money, you have to be able to see where the nebula is moving and move with it. And if you just punch in some coordinates to go there, and you just sit there in that spot, the nebula is going to move, and then you're not going to be in the profitable area anymore. If you don't know which way the nebula is moving, what do you do? And oftentimes the guru doesn't know, frankly, because he might have just ran into it by random chance, for instance. Okay, well, they're holding the open. How high could the E-mini go? Well, the top of this range is 36. Oh, remember that there was the 47 up above us that was kind of, I don't know. I'm not saying that this can't continue up, but I still don't see a really probable setup for me to want to risk capital at this moment. I took some good trades in the treasuries, shorting it. I probably should have shorted that again when it was at 03.5. But I missed that one. So we can't kick ourselves too bad, but we had a really good day. Oh, how come I don't have this thing?
Bots says the biggest problem with trading on stream is your id gets in the way of your rational thought process, battling your ego and superego.
Well, I think that is at play, yeah. I think that was at play much earlier. I've especially lately have kind of gotten into this spot where it's like I really don't feel like that I know what's going on, and I've just accepted that, and I was still able to pull some good trades out somehow. But I just I don't I don't do it. Let me say, I want to do well for you guys,
Duper's Delight says there is no such thing as the unconscious mind. We run on logical algorithms in the brain.
I want to do well to be able to help you do well. And it's kind of like, well, if he's not doing super great, then can you really help me all that much? That's definitely something good that goes through my mind. But I've always remind myself that I'm going to have good periods and bad periods, and those good periods and bad periods are all going to be recorded and are there. And so the only thing that really matters is just the trade that we're taking and trying to take that trade as best as we can. And part of that is being really selective about which ones that we take. And so it's a Friday. Even though there was a lot of opportunity, I tend to have a really hard time on Friday. And so, hey, you know what? Not taking that short in the treasury, for instance, wasn't like a bad thing. It was a high risk trade anyways. So yeah. And there is the thing about like my attention span. Like maybe I would have taken that trade if I was more focused. But then I'll also end up taking a lot of trades that I shouldn't take. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about that one. We were killing it selling puts on the E-mini 2010 to 2017. My notionals got nuts in 1817. Soon we had that correction. That would have been a blood plat if I had put those puts on. Ooh. There's no such thing as the unconscious mind. We run on logical algorithms in the brain. I'll have to think about that one, Dupers, and see if I can find scientific evidence to back that up. I do kind of think that Sigmund Freud's kind of abstraction of the way that the human mind works is wrong.
Duper's Delight says focus is created by motivation, and motivation is created by belief.
No, I think that focus is created by chemicals in your brain, and I think I have less of them than other people. That's pretty good science to back that one up. I can get into that mode sometimes, but sometimes being in that mode is bad as well. Because when I'm in that mode, I seem to cling to ideas that might not be backed up by what's actually happening. Like if I was in that mode right now, I would be thinking treasuries are too high. There's no reason for the E-mini to be panicking. They're just consolidating. And so I should be buying the E-mini and selling the treasuries. And I probably would have faded that whole move up in the treasuries and got slaughtered.
Gary Rich says we do get influenced by power of suggestion.
So, yeah. Well, it's really hard for somebody to come in and say, oh, I'm taking a trade like this and not think, I think I will also take that trade. Wow. Chinese response to coronavirus is truly unprecedented. Here's the story of one confirmed case in Tianjin, near Beijing, resulting in 973 people being dragged off to quarantine camps. What? Jeez. Okay, so see there, if I had FOMO'd into the buy. In fact, a sell here would not be bad. I don't think that the price is right. Okay, so let me go and see what my wife said. Oh, no, wait. She hasn't come back. She's taking the kids to school. So we'll wait. I'll pull up here. Pull up here Messenger so that I can see it on the browser instead of my phone if she messages me. Is it snowing really bad outside? Sounds like it. Sounds like it. I'm tempted. So, John, did you see any other setups today on that? How I only want to pay it. Well, I take that back. Like like I'm okay with like looking at like a 5 minute and 15 minute, but I don't want to look at like a 5 minute, a 15 minute, and a 1600 tick and an X tick. You know what I mean? Like I would like to keep my number of charts to 6. I have 6 charts up right now, and then my DOMs, of course. I have to say that my setup working pretty good today. Like if we look at this. And the treasuries in particular.
Gary Rich says, do you have to cables when you drive in the snow?
No, you know what? Sometimes you might need to do chains, but I'd only do chains like on
Bot
the van.
says power
really,
of suggestion
really
and half a dozen biases like recency bias.
Yeah, right. Recency bias. This is a pretty good edge. It has a poor drawdown, but it's a pretty good edge, and it gave you 2 good shorts right there. Gave you 2 good shorts right there. I changed this, by the way, my level 2 polling thing. Look at this. The changes are always net pulls.
Duper's Delight says, if Elon Musk is sleeping with reporters, what effect could that possibly have on his companies?
I don't know. The Tesla thing really weirds me out because like I definitely see a future in the company, but I just can't imagine how they're justifying the valuation. And Elon Musk is crazy. Straight up. He's not maybe he's ADHD or something like that, but he's just not like the firm hand that you would necessarily want to have in a company. That doesn't mean that he can't be a good CEO still, but just that there's always going to be crazy stuff going on over there, you know. and there's a certain probability of it just blowing up at some point. I mean, that's 6 months ago. That's what people thought was going to happen.
Live Action says, could depend how great it was.
There he is. It's my favorite game to play with my bird is he'll go under the blanket and be where.
Bot says, to be honest, I've been trading the micro NQ lately using a 5-minute beside a 532 volume chart, taking my entries of the volume chart when the 1-hour TFC agrees with my directional bias.
And when you say your directional bias, is that just your general feeling about what should happen?
Gary Rich says at Air, it's your inner voice talking to you.
Oh, guys. We have fun. Oh, Kudlow is still speaking? Trump advisor Kudlow says U.S. economy in a very strong territory in 2020, says Fox. Appeals Court. Rules Democrats can't sue Trump over emoluments claims. Is that one going to go to the Supreme Court? That'll be interesting. I thought that the emoluments case was kind of weak anyways. But.
RJ Wheel says he says by 2052 ships a day he will send to Mars. A colony of 30,000 quick to follow. So Tesla will be just fine.
He's crazy, man. This is just where it's like, you know, another individual that's like him is Kanye West, right? They have this irrational.
Duper's Delight says nothing against Musk, but his stutter is new. It did not exist in the 90s.
He has an irrational
confidence says, can we see your
trades
anywhere on the screen?
Where did it go? Here's the ones that I took
Gary
today.
Rich says I'll be dead by then. Good luck, Elon. Bot says looking at the S this morning, the first hour was all below the 9:30 open except for the last bar.
Yeah, everything's been red. So you're saying that you would have only taken shorts today, right? But I'm still wondering what's the directional bias like.
RJ Wheels says Kanye or the president. Air Cages says, hey Seth, can you do a good Dr. Phil impression?
The president is different, actually. I think you might actually be surprised to hear that the president actually seems to not
Bots
trust
says the
himself.
second hour is now below the second hour open.
Yeah. It's definitely a short. I just don't see. I mean, the bias is short. I just don't see the imbalance that I'm looking for. But I'm trying to understand more when you decide to take them. John's a really good trader, but we've had a hard time nailing down how he does stuff too. But
Matt
I
Smaller
can't
says thanks.
explain. I can't
Matt
completely
Smaller
explain
says,
my
oh
trades.
okay, and this is a algo trade? Or did you take the trade?
So the 3 trades that I took, I just took them. Now that first one was actually a screw up.
Ace Trade says, what did I miss?
Hey Ace. So, if I could, I'll explain here.
Bots says that's why I was showing you the 1600 tick chart with the KVO indicator on there, looking for divergence between price and the KVO.
What is the KVO? That is a new one. What is that? Okay, so anyways, that first one, what happened was I wanted to sell at 130.22, and I had a stop limit order in there, but it actually turned out to be a just a stop order, and so it executed like several ticks lower than I expected, and then I didn't get out fast enough. The E-mini is just taken off now, man. Look at the treasuries, puke, hardcore. Man, if I had taken that trade, I could have held it for like almost 16 ticks, and I didn't take that one. That's funny. Anyways, so this one, you see I got MFE of 2 of it, but I got out. That was off of the news, so that one was kind of screwy. This one, I screwed up on 2 because I didn't get out fast enough. I could have gotten 8 on that, right? I don't want it to come back more than 4 on me. This one, it was a sell at 01. And I think that one, I ended up that getting out there was the right thing. Can the bot do celebrity accents? Okay.
Bot says Klinger volume oscillator.
Ooh. Okay, hold up. Do I have that? No, I don't. That's a new one, huh? Anyways, so then I just show you one last thing, Mad Smaller, if you're still there, is here in the treasuries. So I was showing you before. One of the things that I do, you can do a similar thing if you just look at volume, but what I'm looking at is the total number of level 2 changes. When you get a lot of level 2 changes, you usually have a pullback. So here, when we were at the high, you could have, that was your signal to sell it. Now here in the treasuries, it's giving you another one. So here you could have faded it and like you could have gotten 2. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't always expect that one to go that far, but usually it will reverse for at least 2. Now, it really looks to me like in this situation that the treasuries really overextended. Like, there was really no justification for them to be above 131 and definitely not up here to 0.4. So for them to come back that hard like that totally makes sense to me. 130.27 is still a reasonable price. I'm not so sure if I have a better trade beyond that, but that was what the trade was. But and then after all of that, I have to give you a warning. That signal, it has a really good track record, but it has a poor drawdown. Does that make sense? So it works really well, and then you will have a period of like a month or so where it doesn't work at all because they will trend through them every time and you will lose money. And if you did that for a full year, you would make money, but the amount that you would probably lose in that month for most retail traders would probably turn them off from taking the trade. But we still kind of will watch it and slice things out and determine some spots where it's okay to take, like that one. So that was a trade. And I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm kind of testing and looking at. And now John is saying that I should add a Klinger volume oscillator. Where did you get that one? Have you always had that, John? You've been holding back on me. Or is that a new indicator? Want a long signal at 33, 34, 25? Oh, looks like that one's already probably screwed, right? If Ace gave me one, I could potentially... I mean, I want to go long, but I don't know if it makes sense for me to try and take one. Is that girl still home? Is she still got a fever? Okay, I am going to step away for a second and figure out what's going on, all right? 32 people. Don't go anywhere. No, usually we quit around this time, so I understand if you look. But I'll be right back, all right? And hit that like button if you haven't. Here she comes. She says that they called and they are ready for us now. So I'm gonna go have a baby. And she's not gonna step in the camera because she's terrified of being seen on camera in her current day. Oh, did you do your makeup today?
I did. I was ready to.
You have to have your makeup ready to have a baby, guys.
No, but when you wake up at 5:30 and they say wait 2.5 hours.
John says, okay, you've had it for a few years, but you took it off for a while. Thanks. Okay, guys. So hopefully on Monday I have a baby to show you. Well, I mean, definitely on Monday we will. Okay, so hit that like 13 likes. Oh my gosh, guys, you guys are so great. It's a good day. It's a good day. Hopefully good. Hey, thanks, Ace. Okay. I'm stalling. It feels so, you guys are so great and it just feels so good. But I will see you guys on Monday. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.